Hello and welcome to another video lesson. I still have the code from the previous lesson up, and what we're going to do is we're going to cover the keyword and we're going to use it to shorten up this code. So as previously mentioned, if age is greater than 18, if this is true, we go into this if is student. Now, there is a way that we can actually put this if and this if on the same line. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to paste it here. If age greater than 18 and if is student. Let's, for clarity's sake, let's say is true. Just for clarity's sake while you're learning. So I'm going to change this if to and it's a keyword, right? So it says, in the context of Boolean operators and also when expressions are used by control flow statements, the following values are interpreted as false. False, none, numeric, zero types. You could read this on your own type. I thought it was going to be a little bit more, I thought it was going to be a little bit more relevant for what we're doing right now, but it's not. So you could read that later. If age greater than or equal to 18 and the variable is student is true, then we're going to say you are an adult student. Now, this indentation is a little too far, right? Because it belonged to that nested if. So I'm going to actually press backspace on it. And then I'm going to press backspace on this. And I'm going to get rid of this. Okay. So I'm going to say if age greater than 18 and is student is true, then we're going to print you are an adult student. For everything else, we're going to say you're an adult, but you're not a student. Okay, so I'm going to clear my console. I keep forgetting to do that on my own. I'm going to run it. You are an adult, but not a student. So the person is 20. There is student Boolean variable is false. So this evaluated to false. So they're not, so they are an adult, but they're not a student. Now, that's crazy, right? Because age was greater than or equal to 18, but this part wasn't true. So with this keyword and, both conditions on the outer part of the and need to be true for the code below to execute. So if one of these isn't true, then it means that this and this is not true. If one of these is not true, then we're going to move on. Okay? So with and, both conditions need to be true. And you could have more than just two conditions. While you're learning, let's keep it to just two conditions. But, I wanted to mention that you don't want to have way too many ands going on in a row because your code's going to get unwieldy. But yeah, so we're just covering these two ands right now, or these two conditionals right now between the and. So if one or both are false, this doesn't happen, this print statement underneath. So once again, I'm going to say that one more time. If one or both of these conditions is not true, then we're going to go to whatever else is after that. So this code might have this, right? Remember when we at our first video lesson we didn't have an else, so it might be this. So it might be, it might be whatever else is after that, whatever code we have coming out after that. But in this case we have an else. So we're covering it there. This is and. So the keyword and. You can combine conditions using this, but you need to be careful that what you're putting is clear, very clear. So if I said, if age greater than or equal to 18 and is student is true, what if I just put and true, right? Well, that's not very clear. I need the variable that I'm evaluating and the, oops, is student. I need the variable that I'm combining this with to also be represented. So I have a variable, a condition, and some value. I have a variable, a condition, and some value. That's the format. So like, let's say I don't have this. Let me try to come up with another example for you. Age equals 20. And we're going to say has ID equals true. And let's try this other example. If age greater than or equal to 18 and has their ID is true. I feel like I keep making extra spaces. Then we're going to print, you can enter the event. Okay. If either one of these isn't true, we're going to say else. So if they're not of age and if they don't have their ID, so we're going to say you cannot enter the event. And pay attention. So this expression here and this expression here, once again, both need to be true for the code underneath to run. If either one of these is false, then we're going to go to the else. Or if there was another elif with a condition, we would check that, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to run this so that you can see what happens. You can enter the event. Why? Because age 20 is greater than or equal to 18 and has ID, Boolean has ID is true. So this runs. But what if we make just one of these false? Then what happens? If I run it, you cannot enter the event. So one of these conditions wasn't true, and so we went to the else. If both of the conditions aren't true, it's still you cannot enter the event. So that's how these work. In the next video lesson, we're going to go over Boolean if or. As mentioned before, this was the same as using a nested if statement. We just introduced the keyword and that's it. I feel like this video is very confusing because I'm using the word and to represent the keyword, and I have a lot to say that uses the word and. So I hope it was more amusing than confusing for you. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.